Hello, welcome to Invictus Motors. We've got a very special Mini here, and this is probably the most, driver focused and race orientated Mini we've ever had at our dealership. I mean, we've had pretty much all the Minis, the JCWs, but this just takes it up another notch. It's known as the JCW GP. Amongst enthusiasts, it's the Mini GP2. And I'll be telling you a little bit about what it is that is so special about these, why they are such a collectible items, and they hold value superbly well. Well, one of them being this was the road legal version of the Mini Challenge car, and they're also in a very limited numbers. There were only 2,000 of these built, and this is number 1,265 of 2,000, and only 288 of them were supplied to the UK market. And I mean, 288 were all that were built for the UK market. So I'm going to take you around the vehicle, what it is that makes the Mini JCW GP a very special car, and everything you really need to know about it, and why you should perhaps consider buying one of these. Well, what is it that makes this really special? And I'd like to cover this briefly before we get out to drive it. They've got the special 17-inch alloys. They are sort of lightweight metal composites, and something that's incredibly special about the front wheels is also the fact that this has the 6-piston calipers rather than the 4-piston Brembo calipers. You've also got the bigger brakes. These are from the BMW M135i. And what also makes the GP such a special car is the red side door mirrors, the GP badging, the stickers that you find there, the fact that you've got GP 1265 written there at the front, and also the rear brakes are also Brembo, and the 17-inch alloys as well. And as a matter of fact, the front of the vehicle, from an optional spec point of view, has the bi-xenon front headlights, which also has the headlight cleaning system. Before I jump onto the inside, I just would like to show you a little bit of just the side where you've got this aerodynamic element to it. Not sure if this is necessarily a gimmick or what, but it looks absolutely awesome. The front and the rear wheels also have 10mm spaces, just to give it slightly better balance if you are thinking of putting this on the odd track day throughout the year. You continue to have the special GP badging, and this is where it gets really amazing. You've got the top mounted rear spoiler, which is finished in carbon, the valance system, and actually a functionable rear diffuser. And lastly, from an upgrade point of view, it's got the Scorpion exhaust system. And if we actually open this rear, from a weight saving point of view, you've had the rear seats delete, and you've got this red cross member there just to give it a much more stable outlook. Let me just get the cameraman onto the inside from the front. On the inside here, you've got the Recaro leather Alcantara seats. They're amazing to sit into. You've got the GP logo, the red seat belts, you've got the leather Mini steering wheel, the sports version of the steering wheel. The GPs only came in a 6-speed manual transmission, and you've got the various modes such as the sport, the GP mode, if you wanted to have the traction control fully switched off. This has the extended leather package as well, with the red stitching all the way into the front of the vehicle, going back to the back of the seats and the front of the seats. The front seats are also heated, and you've got your climate control zones as well. There's all these little cues of the red all over the vehicle, and that's the theme that Mini had tried to run through such a limited run of cars. And in terms of all the weight saving aspects and the extra performance upgrades that it's had, this is a lethal car, one that weighs only 1,334 kilograms, one that produces 218 bhp. In terms of the 0 to 60 miles per hour is possible in 6.1 seconds. And the torque at 280 Newton meters of torque. It's an exceptional package of a car, and let's just drive it and tell you a little bit more about what it's like to drive, what it sounds like, and just the overall handling and what you kind of expect from something like this. Right from the get-go, it feels incredibly light. Just from that initial drive off, and you can really feel all the weight saving measures that they've incorporated in this. This also has the lightweight clutch and flywheel, so it's fantastically easy to change those gears. I mean, especially the clutch pedal down, especially putting that clutch pedal down, and just gives it a race-like feel to it. Now, the transmission is quite precise. Let me just drop it to first gear, into second gear. Very easy, and the gear selector is very nice to hold on to as well. It's finished in leather and chrome there at the top, so quite a nice feeling. Something like this ought to be driven in sports mode. Let me just drive it for about a mile or so just to get the engine slightly warm. I mean, the 1.6 litre direct fuel injection turbo engine producing 218 bhp, gosh, it goes. And that's purely down to the fact how light this car is overall. Torque wise is 280 newton meters of torque, and they're not to 60 miles per hour in 6.1 seconds. It goes, it really does. It's a lot of fun. And in terms of driving it in and around in a city, I think from what I saw in terms of MPG figures, I think it did about 38 miles per gallon, city driving, and on the motorway, from what I saw, I think it was about 48 miles per gallon MPG wise on the motorway. So it is a remarkably efficient car, and that's down to the fact that it's got an engine that is 1.6 litre turbocharged. And one thing I absolutely love about these is they're bomb-proof. I mean, they're just so well made, the engines. And the fact it's got the 6-piston calipers and the brakes from the BMW M135i, they are so snappy. And now let's put it into sports mode. We press sports mode and that's it, it's on. Something else. I was talking to a friend of mine that is a Mini specialist, and he was telling me that this is equivalent to a GT4 RS, a Porsche Cayman GT4 RS, and the JCW would be the GT4 equivalent. And I really take him at his word when he says that, because it feels like it. And on the downshift, oh God, that exhaust. It sounds amazing. And if I press this button there on the screen, you see that it's now into the GP mode. And when you want a Mini that is going to acquire every fiber of muscle to handle it, to drive it, it's got to be this. These roads are something else. Gosh, this is us at about 4,500 RPM. Let's take it off the GP mode, switch off the sports mode as well, and just talk about the rest of the handling of it. You've got the leather Alcantara seats that are also heated, so if you're just going to be poodling around in this, the climate control combined with the heated seats, it works superbly well. It's really nice and warm, very cozy to be on the inside of this. The steering wheel feels good. And just the overall handling of it, it's not rigid, race-like or sports-like to make it uncomfortable in any way, form or shape, because I still think it's still a comfortable Mini. You've still got your mobile Bluetooth connectivity, both for your music and for your telephone calls. So should you need that functionality is there with the car. And values wise, they've only gone up in value. I mean, brand new, these with probably a spec like this cost you £30,000 without speccing it, without adding anything extra. I think they were about £28,000. So they did bottom out from the depreciation point of view probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And now they're at a price point where just because of their limited supply, firstly, you can't actually get these. But it's at a price point at £18,000 where I genuinely believe and feel that they will only appreciate and go up in value. And mileage wise, it's just gone over 60,000 miles. So I must say that you don't need to worry about putting mileage.